All. We'll just start in the next 2 minutes. Maybe just wait to see if somebody else is coming. Okay, I think we'll start now. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ayanda Mariti, and I'll be your host for today. I have my panelist, Tebogo Mazeke, who will be answering your questions on the chat. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the session. The purpose of this session is to share some of the troubleshooting skills for Voucher Manager. This is based on the common issues that we as Sage have identified on our demand drivers. So the issues that are outlined on this presentation are the issues that we have found that BPs and clients are contacting us most about. Okay, on our agenda today, we will probably cover the introduction, voucher management main features, voucher management tables, common issues which are caused by either upgrade or configuration, and troubleshooting voucher management missing nodes. The purpose of creating a payment or received voucher is an essential function for many businesses, and the voucher management module helps streamline and automate these processes. This module is suitable for clubs, schools, and other organizations where money is collected for members, students, or customers, and documented proof is required for audit and record purposes. Okay, so we'll move on to the voucher management main features. So these are the main features in which most of entities that use voucher management use it for. So we'll have your role-based authorizations, permissions and discretionary limits per user, process accounts receivable receipts, process accounts payable payment advices, process general ledger receipts and payments, support for multi-currency accounts, customizable receipts and payment vouchers, capture and save receipts and payments for future processing, and also maintain and print audit trails. I'd like us to watch a very short overview of the voucher management module. Please stay tuned while we watch. It will be 2 minutes or so.
process of creating a payment or receipt voucher is an essential function for many businesses. And Sage Evolution's Voucher Management module helps streamline and automate these processes. The Voucher Management module is suitable for clubs, schools, and other organizations where money is collected from members, students, or customers, and documented proof is required for audit and record purposes. The Voucher Management module allows you to establish and determine role-based authorizations, setting which types of vouchers a role can process, as well as the discretionary limits available per role. Roles can have 3 separate authority levels: save, print, or process. You can set which users are assigned to specific roles. This then determines what they can process and the discretionary limits available to them. You can create an array of voucher types to cover all acceptable payment methods to your business, with each type linked to a bank account and referencing its own general ledger account, so that it can be accurately reflected in your financials. The Voucher Management module allows for receipts and payments to be captured and saved for future processing. Once captured, they can be authorized at a later date. Process vouchers for accounts payable, accounts receivable, and general ledger payments and receipts with full support for multi-currency payments. The Voucher Management module also caters for split allocations when it comes to dealing with one amount that covers multiple payments. When it comes to printing your receipts and payment vouchers, you can use the standard Voucher Management layouts or customize your own. Reports are available to examine accounts payable, accounts receivable, and general ledger payments and receipts. You can choose from a range of date options, allowing you to maintain and print audit trails, as well as being able to export these trails for future analysis.
Thank you all for watching that. And next on our agenda will be the voucher management tables. Okay, so just like any other module, VM will also post to the relevant posting tables where suppliers, customers, and general ledger are concerned, that being your post AR, post AP, and post GL. But these tables that I'm underlying on this presentation here are the tables that are most involved with voucher management, which are solely based on Voucher Manager. Okay, so on the table, we've got the function, we've got the table name, and we've got the primary key. So our defaults are stored in the PR_defaults table, and the primary key for that is the I_num_PMT. So whenever you need any information pertaining to defaults, this is the table that you would go and look on. And then we've got our role authorizations. These are stored in the PR_role authorization table. And our primary key on that is the iRole auth ID. Our user roles are stored in the PR_user role authorization table. And the primary key is the iUser role ID. Voucher masters, PR_voucher masters table, and the primary key on that table is the iVoucherMast ID. Voucher types, PR_voucher type is the table, and the primary key on that is the iVoucher type ID. Accounts receivable vouchers, requests and authorization. Those will be stored in the PR_PMT rec table, and the primary key is the ID PR_PMT rec. Accounts payable vouchers, request and authorization, as well as general ledger vouchers, request and authorizations are also kept on the same table, and the primary key for all three is the same. Our journal transactions, our header records, request and authorizations are stored in the PR_JR batches, and the primary key is the ID JR batches table. Sorry, JR batches. And then our journal transactions, journal lines are stored in the PR_JR batch lines, and the primary key on that is the ID JR batch lines. And lastly, our voucher incidents are stored on the underscore RTBL incidents, and then the primary key is the ID incidents. This becomes very necessary when you need to do an investigation on certain voucher types or certain voucher masters or roles, and these tables come in handy. And then these is the first point of reference whereby you'll need to go and check on these relevant tables and conclude your investigations from there. We are now moving on to the common configuration issues. So the below are the main issues that we found that have become problematic, and a lot of our customers and business partners are calling us based on these. So we'll go first. Okay, just to park bits, does anybody have any questions thus far? Anything that was not clear, anything that I need to repeat? Okay, I'll go on. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so on the fourth point, we've got common configuration issues. So the first error message that we have is an access denied message. So you will receive this message when you're trying to process a voucher before you have actually set up your authorizations, role authorizations. So the error message will be access denied. You are not authorized to process this voucher. So the cause is the error is due to insufficient access permissions granted to the agent attempting to process the voucher. And how would you go about fixing this issue? So on your voucher management module, you'd navigate to voucher management, maintenance, and role setup. You will create a new role authorization profile according to your business process. And then on the Agents tab, select the relevant agent that you want to link this profile to. So we are now saying we are creating a role setup whereby we give permission to this agent. So we're saying this agent is allowed to process save, and this is the limit that they can process for. And then we link to agent A. We can also do the same for agent B based on our business process. Okay, so the second error message will be voucher has been saved but not processed. So what we have found to be the cause of this is when you have AR or AP groups, and on those groups you have not specified a control accounts. And then this is one of the reasons that you will be getting this error above. And also, we also have found that this is also due to having the exact same prefixes specified on various voucher types. So this may also lead to duplicate transactions. And how we go about solving this issue would be, we have a new version of Voucher Manager that is out, which is 10.1.1.013. So this is compatible with our 10.1 version. So you'd need to actually download or acquire this voucher management version and then install this. And then this should eradicate the error. Our next common issue is an issue whereby on a branch accounting environment, you post transactions at branch A. When you look on your post AR table, it reflects ITX branch ID of 0, which belongs to the head office. So this creates a confusion, or also creates a discrepancy in your reports and also your processing, because it's now showing as if the head office is the one that processed this transaction and not the branch. So this is a known issue. This was logged as IS 14160 and has been resolved on the latest build of Voucher Manager. So it was identified as a bug, and our development has gone about and fixed it. Okay, just a quick check-in again. Any questions on what I've shared so far?
I'm all good, thanks.
Okay, we'll continue, thank you. Okay, and then the next issue System does not default the change session date to the specific date on voucher management transactions. So basically what happens here is we log into Evolution, we are asked to specify a session date. So today is the 16th of October, but we want to specify a date of the 15th of October, for example. So when we post on Voucher Manager, it will still reflect the 16th and not the 15th. The reason behind this is because Sage Evolution is developed on Delphi and Voucher Manager is a C# module. The functionality to use session date is currently unavailable for C# modules. That's why there's a glitch between the two. So we will use the current date and not the session date for Voucher Manager because this is a C# module. Okay, and Dev are aware of this issue. This has been logged with them, and they are currently looking at adding the functionality for future purposes. So the feature is currently unavailable. But Dev are looking at adding it for future. So the next one that we are moving to is troubleshooting voucher management missing nodes. So this is the mostly logged issue when it comes to Voucher Manager and has occurred with customers upgrading from version 7 to version 9, or from version 7 to version 10, or from version 9 to version 10. What we have found to be the cause is that the issue is related to the incorrect field order within the table _BTBL system function. So that the table design needs to be corrected from within SQL Server Management Studio to ensure that this issue is eradicated. Okay, so again, this issue if you are on version 10.1, this issue has been resolved on the latest voucher management build, which is 10.1.1.013. And if you are on lower versions, we have come up with a data fix that will ensure that this is eradicated on your side as well. So when you have this issue, the first thing that, if you call support or email support, the first thing that we will give to you is the script. The script you will only run once on your side. So if it happens that you are unsure if you've run the script or not, it is always advisable that you at least restore a backup and then start on a clean slate, whereby you are sure that you've only run this once on your side. And then once that is done, you will go on to your SQL Server Management Studio. You'd navigate to Tools, Options, Designers, Table and Database Designers. And you will come across this table here. And below, there's an option that says Prevent Saving Changes that require table recreation. So this option needs to be unticked. So you'll unselect this option. And then once you've done that, you'll click on OK. And then the next thing that you'll do, you'll expand the database, and then go to table, right click on the table _BTBL system function, and then select design. So when you select design, you'll find the table structured like this. So there's these two fields, IAP ID and GI identifier, need to be moved up. So they need to take up position 9 and 10 on your table structure. So you'll need to move this up to just be underneath the column BIS system rule. So once you've done that, your table structure should look something like this. Your columns should be in this order. Okay, and then once all these changes have been done, Voucher Manager should now be available for you on your Sage Evolution. So, and if you find that you've done all of this and Voucher Manager is still not available on Evolution, we do have some troubleshooting tips that you may also try on your side, just to ensure that we've checked everything else before we need to delete stuff from SQL or take other measures to resolve. Okay, so firstly, what we'd need to do, we need to ensure that the voucher manager is installed and that the correct version of voucher manager is installed. So if you're on, voucher manager is not backward compatible. So if you're on version 10, you can't use a voucher manager for version 720. So you need to ensure that by going to your starts, control panel, programs and features, and then confirm that there is indeed a voucher manager installed and that there is only one instance of voucher manager, because that would sometimes clash and it would also lead to voucher manager not being available within your Sage Evolution. So always make sure that you at least have one instance of voucher manager installed and that it is the correct version. On your programs and features screen, it will give you the version at the end. So as I mentioned, that the latest version is 10.1.013. So you'll have that version there. If, for example, you are on version 720 and it displays a higher version of Voucher Manager, then it is highly unlikely that it's not going to work. So you'd need to actually uninstall this and get a version that is compatible to your build of Evolution. The next thing that we need to do when we find ourselves in a position whereby Voucher Manager is not available on our Evolution, so we need to navigate to Utilities. This is within Evolution. Navigate to Utilities, Manage Extensions, Manage Add-ins. Firstly, you will ensure that the line for Voucher Manager also appears and that the stable is enabled. The status is enabled, sorry. So as you see here, you need to see the status as enabled as it appears here. There are some instances whereby you may get a message saying the DLL is missing or upgrade failed. Okay, so this will also show on your manage extension screen, whereby it will tell you that the DLL, it tried to load Voucher Manager, but the DLL is missing or upgrade has failed. If it says DLL is missing, you might need to uninstall Voucher Manager, ensuring that all traces of VM are removed. So by saying all traces, it means like all registry entries of Voucher Management are also removed. I would recommend that you use Revo uninstall because it's the best at ensuring that even registry entries are removed. So yeah, you need to do that. So you need to uninstall and then do a clean installation thereafter. And then to resolve the upgrade failed error, you need to follow the steps pertaining to the _BTBL system functions or acquire VM 10.1.013. Okay, and the next thing that you may do is checking on the _ETBL add-in register if the voucher management line exists and that the version that it displays matches your current version. So you'd need to open your SQL Server Management Studio. You need to execute the following query, which is a select * from _ETBL add-in register. So by selecting that, it will give you a table like this. So this will have all your add-ins, and then you'd need to look if your voucher management line appears there. So if you've managed to identify that your voucher managed line is there, the next thing that you'd look in is the F add-in version. So you'd go and look at the version. So if it displays a 72000, meanwhile you are on a version 10. So that means our voucher manager has not upgraded successfully. What you can do is then you'd need to go to your C drive, go to your program data, and within that folder, you should have a Sage Evolution Voucher Manager folder. Open that folder and there's a SQL script that is there. You then need to open that script on your SQL and execute that script. So once you've executed the script, please come back and then run the same script just to check if the F add-in version has now changed. Because the script is the Voucher Manager script, which contains all the details relevant to the version of Voucher Manager that you have installed. So we will probably also update this field by running that script. If you are able, and if you do know what the fedn version needs to be, you can also come back and update this manually using a SQL script. But I always advise that you may rather just run the script that is on program data, because this is the design script for Voucher Manager. Okay, and if you've done all of this, you've done all the above, you've done the upgrade scripts, you've checked on manage extensions, manage add-ins, you've enabled everything, and Voucher Manager is still not there. Then the last thing that we can do is you'd need to ensure that all users have been logged out of Sage Evolution. Take a backup of your database just to ensure that you've got backup, and then execute the below query. So you are deleting from ETBL add-in register. So we are deleting the voucher management line with hopes that when we reopen Evolution, it recreates the line with the correct information. So you would delete from ETBL add-in register, and then where I add in. So this is the unique identifier for the line. So if you will need to check first on the table what the line ID is. And then once you've done that, you will use the relevant ID add-in for the VM line on your side. So if your VM is number 10, you'd put where I add in equals to 10 here. And yeah, I think we've covered the most common issues that we do have on Voucher Manager. So we will be taking your questions down. And if there's anything that you'd like me to repeat, please feel free to ask me to repeat, and we'll go back. And if there's anything that you need clarity on, please do say. If you perhaps need a copy of this in PDF format, please also mention that you ask for a copy, and I will gladly send it to you. We have come to the Q&A sessions. I will be taking questions. Thank you.
Is it possible for you to send this through to me?
I will. Please put
PDF,
in
please.
your email address on the chat for me. I will send it in PDF format to you.
Will do, thanks. Also, I see it's being recorded. Will this be distributed to us?
I'll ask that it's posted on Sage City as well. But
Okay.
I can also maybe share the recording with you on the email address that you provide.
Okay, thank you so much.
Is there anything else that you need assistance with? Okay, if there's no more questions, that will be all. I will be sending you the documents as requested. Please just remember to put in your email address for me on the chat so I can be able to send the stuff to you ASAP. Thank you for your time. Thank you for attending. And I hope this session was informative to you. Yes.